Sony Music with the Rock Professor Brad and Andrew.
Hey, this is Philip Sace, and you are watching the 5150 Show with Brad and Andrew. All right.
Now it's time for Brad's Tech and Tone Tips.
Okay, we all got to do it. Oh dear. Oh, the long intro this morning.
Oh, yeah, I nearly fell asleep.
Tic tac, time to rock. Good to see you guys.
Brad, Tech and Tone Tips.
Yes.
Don't work.
Good to see you guys.
Makes me laugh. Yes, good morning. How are we doing?
Good bit of fun, eh?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah.
I can't get the flame going on my thumb anymore.
I know, that's what, yeah, see, it's gone.
See,
Yeah.
magic. I'm a magician. Oh.
Yeah.
We're going to have a bit of fun here, guys, today. Obviously, it's our annual show. This is a bit of self-indulgency on behalf of the three of us.
Yes.
It's a ritual. It's a legacy. It's a tradition here on the show that we get together and we do our top 5 and not so top 5 list, and share that towards the end of the year. Rock Professor and Brad.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Indeed.
We've done this now. It feels like a fair few times too. Like how many years in a row have we done this? 3?
Could be could be 3 or 4. We're up there. We're up there. We're up there for 3 or 4, and obviously we've got some fine folks in the chat, and the Rock Professor is going to be doing a shout out to you. But feel free to offer some of the top 5 things related to music and the entertainment industry. Please, and obviously, if anything really, really good's happened, and also any of your not so top things, if you want to put them into the chat. But yeah, good to see the Rock Professor. I'm going to steal a couple of minutes before we start the show properly, and say thank you very much to Brad for a parcel I received the other day. I didn't do a live unboxing for it, but I was kind enough to get a handful of Brad Cook guitar picks. Thank you, bro. I really
official pick measurement, a handful.
Yes, yeah. I really appreciate that. But also, and a beautiful card too, bro. Thank you for the card. Means a lot to me. But also, I was really spoilt, folks. So I wasn't expecting this. I got a Led Zeppelin T-shirt from Brad from the '77 tour.
Yes.
You know, so someone's going to go on about the '75 tour, but that's nothing. That's nothing compared to the '77 tour, eh? You know, we all know. We all know the '77 tour.
Oh, look, you know, it's a great T-shirt. I think nearly every Zeppelin fan's got to have one. You know, of that.
Mate, and I'm going to.
The 75 tour. Did I tell anyone?
What was that?
Yeah. I will do a change mid-show. Well, mid-intro. I promise the camera will be off when I do it too. But I intend to wear this. So.
Well, we do need some. You know, we need some candy on the screen again, mate. We need something.
Yes, you're right, Alan. It was very, very thoughtful of Brad. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you and your loved ones, Brad. Yep. And like I say, the card especially was fantastic. So thank you. We're going to do a bit of a round table. So we've got a couple of things that we want to do a bit of a shout out about. My first shout out that I'm going to talk about is a couple of days ago, the Rolling Stones dropped Beggar's Banquet, one of the greatest rock and roll albums ever recorded. And we've had the pleasure on the show to rank that album and talk about it a couple of times. But that album, significantly, Simon, was the album that started the golden run of 5 or 6 great Rolling Stones albums, you know, Beggar's Banquet, Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street, and It's Only Rock and Roll. Did I get that right?
I think so.
Yeah. And you've got Black and Blue, haven't you, after that? And,
yeah. Oh,
but yeah, all the ones with Mick Taylor on. Everyone knows.
I agree. I love Black and Blue as well, though. I do love that album.
Yeah. It's a great album. So shout out to the Rolling Stones and also Beggar's Banquet. So we're going to go to the Rock Professor. He's got a shout out, and then Brad's going to do a shout out. Then we'll pass it back to the Rock Professor to do a shout out to you folks in the chat. Is that how it's going to work?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Actually, I've got 2 shout outs. One of which is tomorrow is the 44th anniversary of the death of John Lennon, which we must mark. As Brad said earlier, John Lennon is one of the DNA bits of our show, so the Beatles. So we mark that passing, which is tomorrow. So that is today. So 44 years ago today. It's a slight disaster. But on a more cheerful note, we've just passed 800,000 views on the channel. So well done, boys.
Wow.
Just skipped over 800,000 in the last 20 minutes. So that's a nice joyous thing to think about as we move towards Christmas. Getting towards 1 million views, guys. Can you imagine?
Oh no! Can you imagine? Watch us for 1 million views. Unbelievable.
It'll take us longer than any other channel in the history of creation to get there, but still. Oh dear. Anyway, go on, Brad. Over to you.
Well, I think my shout out's been done. The John Lennon one. So
Oh, did I ruin your shout out? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Was I supposed to? I didn't write it down. What was I supposed to have done? Oh,
I don't
dear.
know.
Broken it already.
Doesn't matter.
He's broken it already, Seth.
The train's off the tracks. Let's just see where it goes. But no, yeah. Look, as you said, Simon, John Lennon being I guess in the DNA of this show, it's important that we acknowledge that. So John Lennon was a genius and died at the age of 40, prematurely, unfortunately, taken by Mark David Chapman. But we all know the story, and at least we have his music, which lives on. So his spirit lives on.
Yeah, you're right. And we're still talking about it today. And we were in the green room, folks. And just don't run away, folks, in the chat. The Rock Professor will do a shout out to you. But we were in the green room talking. Brad and Simon have yet to watch the new documentary that's out on Disney. So when they have, we're going to come together here on the channel. So if you hit that notification button, and we'll come on here within the next week and a bit, 2 weeks, and spend some time talking about that documentary. I've seen it. I recommend, if you haven't seen it already, please go and see it. You've got to see it clearly. And we won't say much more about it until we all get back here together and we can share some thoughts and inspiration about that documentary. Martin Scorsese is a genius. And if you want to come on our Christmas show too, which is next week, about this time, the Rock Professor will be jumping on, and Brad and I, during the course of the afternoon, would have been here for about 6, maybe 4 hours. We've got the guys from the Van Halen show coming on as well. So, and Brad, I'll say this live, bro. Look, I know that you're busy. It's a busy time of year. So pop on when you can, because you were doing something yesterday, weren't you? If you follow Brad on Instagram, and if you're not following him, you need to, because there he is there. If you were following Brad on Instagram, you would have seen some posts, bro. What were you doing yesterday?
Yes, well, first and foremost, the Beatles T-shirt was in honor of John Lennon. We went and changed while we were in the green room quickly.
Good work.
And secondly, I just saw who was it that puts that up there? Was it Johnny Heartbreaker put the 20th anniversary of Dimebag Darrell being shot on stage from Pantera? So
Wow,
yes, if you're 20 years ago,
Right.
Can't believe that.
We should say that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Johnny Heartbreaker just brought that up in the chat. Yeah, Dimebag Darrell. 20.
That's
I didn't realize it was exactly 20 years ago.
Yeah, on John Lennon's anniversary.
Yeah, the anniversary. I didn't realize it was the
Yeah,
anniversary
so
of John Lennon.
sad one. I mean, as a younger guy driving around listening to my metal days when I used to listen to Metallica's albums and the Black Album, and also Pantera were right up there with listening to Van Halen and stuff for me. So yeah, it's a very sad moment. Here's the moment of truth. Here's our candy, our candy store. Looks good.
Thank you, bro.
Not
Thank
bad.
you, bro.
Good size.
Lovely.
Yeah, mate. Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah. To go back to what you were saying, Andrew, I had a gig on in Sydney. It was a whirlwind 24 hours. I was up at 4 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, 4:30. Sorry, got to the airport by 6:30 or 6 o'clock. 8 o'clock flight in Sydney airport. Mountains of gear. I shared all that stuff on Instagram stories. I just can't believe how much gear we've got. And then 2 vans down to check in, and then straight to the venue to set up. A 4-hour setup. Can you believe that? It's very
4
hot
hours.
weather. Yeah, the PA and everything like that to get done. It was very hot and humid yesterday in Sydney. I think my mum might be able to, what am I trying to say? I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I'm not even thinking straight, but she'd be able to admit that it was totally sticky, hot weather, and we were in the middle of it. We got set up, played. By the time we set up, it was late. We got the gig done. We packed down, in record time. Went back to the hotel, went back, fell asleep by 1 o'clock, and by 4:30 in the morning, had to get up and do it all again this morning. Hence why yeah. So I'm aching all over and whatnot. But come back to Melbourne, and it's 10 degrees cooler, and yeah, it's like it was just like it never happened. It just happened so quickly, guys. But it was a great gig. I think I shared a little bit of footage of one of the ABBA songs we're doing, where I don't play guitar in the middle bit. So I thought I'd just share a little bit of what the crowd was like. They were very enthusiastic and fun. It was a fun gig, despite the lengthy setup and all the early starts and the lugging and loading. Because, mate, people wonder how guys like Paul McCartney do 3-hour shows, but then they go, "Oh, come on, guys, you're doing 3 sets. It's only 3 sets." It's like, yeah, but we have to load in, load out, set up, set down, pull down. It's the whole bit. Times I carried my guitar in the morning from the house to my car, from the car to the airport, from the airport to oversized baggage, picking it up from the airport to the van, then from the van to the car hire place, then from the car hire place to the hotel. By the time you've done that, you've lugged your gear about 10 times before you even start. You're exhausted. It is hard. It is a hard slog. People don't understand that. Those interstate ones are very difficult gigs, but they're very fun. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. And we're blessed to be able to, perform, because it's a different era after COVID. The entertainment industry is really took a slog here in Australia, at least. I'm not sure about where you guys are, but so I'm grateful. I'm not whinging, not complaining, but you can totally understand why Paul McCartney must rock up for a 3-hour show. He gets his gear handed to him. There you go, Paul. Go and have a great gig. Then he hands his guitar back at the end of the night and goes back, gets a little massage, sits in the hot tub or the spa. Wakes up in the morning, nice little eggs and vegetarian breakfast made for him. Anyway,
masseuse, yeah, it's all the stuff. See, I got to the stage, Brad, where my youngest was helping me. She was helping me unload my car on Tuesday. But it cost me £5. Cost me money, like actual cash money, to get her to help me. It's like, it's bloody outrageous.
Anyway, so yeah, it was a good gig, guys, and fun gig to do. But I'm super glad that we could do it. But would have been nice to have a little bit more time up in Sydney or whatever. But didn't really even get to go and look at anything. It was disappointing in that sense, or catch up with my parents. But those sort of things you can't really do catch ups and whatnot. It's a private function. It's very difficult, but we're here.
Good on you, bro.
24 hours. In 24 hours, I went to Sydney, gigged, and come back. It's crazy.
Welcome, Tim. Thanks for joining and hanging out with us.
Fantastic.
The Rock Professor's going to do a shout out, but if you want to hit that notification button, Tim, and come and hang out with us when we go live. We generally go live around this time once a week on the channel, but we're winding up a little bit and we take a bit of a break over the next couple of weeks for the Christmas and the summer period down here. I don't know where you are, Tim, but so we'll take a break. But if you hit that notification button.
Yeah.
So I'll say hi to everyone, because we've got Dwight Bailey, Dwight the Hitman Bailey. Nice to see you, Dwight. Hope you're good. Dwight's amazing. Does loads of instrumental stuff and things. He's amazingly prolific, Dwight. So catch him if you can. Tim, welcome, Tim. He's in Eastern Canada. So welcome, Tim.
Another person from the Commonwealth. All sons of the Commonwealth here.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh no, you're not. You're from the home country.
Troublemaker. So good morning to Tim, Dwight, Hugh Caldwell, our old mate. Morning, Hugh. 54 Mac Dog. Nice to see you. Gretch Zeppelin as well. Good morning, Gretch. John ZD351. Morning, John. Hope you're good. Nice to see you. Ellen, of course, Ellen. Nice, lovely to see you, Ellen. Hope you're well. Great. Nelson Rodriguez. Nelson is up somewhere on the west
Hey, bro.
coast of the States. Morning, Nelson. Brett, Johnny Heartbreak as well. Morning, Johnny. Hope you're well. Good to see you. Dwight, Hugh. I think that's everybody who's made a comment. So if you want to shout out, make a comment, and we will endeavour to shout you out.
And who's just common?
Yeah, 50th anniversary of 461 So a lot of anniversaries this week. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And according to John,
Yeah.
he drove from Melbourne to Sydney, loaded
Wow.
his cars and stuff, and drove back again within 27 hours. So he thinks you're a lightweight. I think
Thanks,
he's
John.
just showing off.
Shut up, John.
So we had Hugh on last week, guys? Was that Hugh was joining?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool. So thank you, Hugh, for again, bro, for jumping on. And I suppose while we're talking about thanks and giving thanks to people, I'm going to go first with one of my top 5 things of the year, and then I'm going to pass it on to Brad, and then the Rock Professor, and we'll take turns talking about our top 5 things. But obviously, because we're based here, we know each other through this channel here, through this collective of what we do. We've got a lot of thanks to our co-hosts here and to everybody that turns up weekly, week in, week out, and supports us live on the live streams. But also, a special thanks, guys, to John, who's jumped on, and Hugh, especially during that period, Brad, when you were in Europe. We owe them a lot because they kept the flag and the fire of the show burning while the backdoor man was eating pasta and drinking wine and
turn into a fatso, yeah.
Yeah.
Special shout out to you, Simon and Brad, because at the end of the day, you guys are here, giving up your time, and the best thing I can do is send you a t-shirt, Simon. That's a small bit of thanks, and send you a parcel, Brad, and in the new year I'll send you guys a cup because we need to have our 5150 cup, the 3 of us. I noticed, Brad, you had a really cool Guns N' Roses cup there. So, it's those small little things. But without you two, being part of what we do here, we wouldn't have, as the Rock Professor said, 800,000 people from all around the world. I get the stats, from North America, from Canada, from the UK, from Australia, from New Zealand, from the Philippines, from Japan, from Korea, watching us, Brazil.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. So, that's my number one top thing for me this year, boys. So take a bow.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew.
Honoured and humbled.
Oh, and Jim. Yes, and Jim. So, please, forgive me. Forgive me. Yeah. And Jim.
Yeah.
And the Van Halen boys, of course, but we'll do a special shout out to those guys next week when we're on. But and if we've missed anybody, forgive us. If you've been on and we've missed you, please, send me a message and let me know that I've forgotten you.
That you effed up.
But what it proves is what a collaborative effort this is as a show, and we really enjoyed having Jim and John and Jim on to to do do albums with us. You know, we've had others on in the past as well, Andy and stuff. You know, I think that's, you know, it's great, and that we have a format that almost anybody can come into and understand how it's going to work, and understand, you know, how to run it, and you know, we can help with that. So you know, I think that's one of the joys of it is, you know, so if anyone does, you know, anyone watching this does want to come on and do an album, you know, we clearly will, you know, support you and help you, and not just leaving you out to hang you out to dry to do it. But you know, it's if you've watched 2 or 3 of the shows, you understand the format, you understand how what we do and how it works, and yeah, we would love to have you on, talk about a favorite album with us.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Thank you, Simon. So, Simon, what's the first great thing that you want to talk about? Let us know on your list of things.
Well, I think at number 5, I think I'm going in reverse order. I'm going 5 to 1, so 5 to 1, 1 in 5. So I think the first thing I say is retirement. I managed to retire this year after 47 years of work. A lot of that in working in for the British government as a civil servant. So it's nice to put my feet up and smoke my big cigar and look at the view. And so
Smoke that fat one.
Yeah. Smoking a fat one. Yes, PHAT, by the way. That is it. Down with the kids.
Yeah. No, congrats.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been, you know, it's been fantastic to stop work and have that pressure off you, not to, you know, I mean, you know, civil service is quite a, you know, it's a difficult job. You know, it's a lot of there's a lot of, you know, a lot of pressure to perform, a lot of pressure to, you know, keep things rolling, and we're at the behest of whichever government is in power, to, you know, and which can mean tremendous stamping of brakes and kind of turning sharp turns wherever to keep up. So it's been absolutely lovely to stop and be able to do the things that I want to do. So that's my number 5 of things that have been great about this year. Am I bored? No, Ellen. No, I am not bored.
I couldn't imagine getting bored from taking time off work. I reckon it would just be, there's so many things I could do. It's just, yeah, I'm putting things aside to go to work. It annoys me, you know.
Yeah. See, imagine what you do if you didn't have to work, Brad. You'd be there prolifically putting out music, writing, composing, you know, yeah. Instead of running up and down like a blue ass flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm still putting a lot on each week and things like that. I'm still trying, boys. I'm trying.
Yeah.
What's on your list, bro?
Oh, look, my list. The top that I've got on my list is kind of mirrors a bit what you said, Andrew, as well. You know, the growth of the channel, the amazing shows we've done, all the guests that have come on, the guests, you know, that came on and actually filled out my spot while I was off gallivanting around the UK. And, you know, they did such an amazing job. You mentioned them by name, which is brilliant. I won't double up on that because I don't want to take forever getting through this. But, you know, we've built up a wonderful little community here, and I'm really proud of what we've achieved here on the channel in a sense where everyone that contributes, whether it be in the chat, in the comment section later, the people that are subscribed and watching the, you know, in the, I call it lurking in the distance, but still enjoying the show. We really, really thank you from the bottom of our hearts. That's been, you know, from the channel perspective, that's been really great to see the channel growth, even though it's been a bit slower this year than we expected. But we had a good year last year, and this year it's sort of it's trickled up. It's gone up and up and up and up, and you know, it's just, you know, we're not saying, I guess in a sense you can have 100,000, you know, subscribers, which would be great for obvious reasons. But sometimes a small, mighty subscription thing is great because the community's tighter. Does that make sense? So we're not ungrateful. We're really grateful for everyone who's joined and become part of our community. So thanking the guest. One that you didn't mention, Andrew, that I would like to mention is Zach Zedris. Thank you, Zach, for joining us.
Yes, Zach.
See?
Of course.
Yeah.
And ranking
Forgive
the
me,
track.
Zach.
No, that's fine. There's so many people we've got to try and remember. But yeah, thank you, Zach, for joining us. And Philip says, I know it was end of last year sort of thing, but it feels like it was this year. Kind of feels like it's just sort of this year's flown past, gentlemen. Flown past.
Yeah, we're
Well done.
not thanking him, by the way. I'm not thanking him. You're watching the 51 with Brad and Andrew. And what?
Hey, you know what? We didn't ask him to do any of that other than, do you mind? Andrew asked him, do you mind doing something for our channel? And he just did that. So that's what sort of gentleman he is. But he probably didn't think, Simon, to throw your name in there, to be honest with you. That it's not like he did deliberately.
I know, of course he didn't. But that's not the reason not to pull his leg about it.
Yeah, true. That is true.
We've got Steve Anderson in the chat. G'day, Steve. Good to see
Steve
you.
Anderson. Southern tip of Vancouver Island, I do believe.
Yeah, he's got a Kotzen Telecaster was one of the top things that's happened to him, and we love Richie Kotzen. We're going to be talking about him a little bit on the channel next year, we promise. But those Kotzen Telecasters are fantastic. They're beautiful, and I'm sure Brad and I will be talking about some gear maybe later on.
Yeah, I've got Steve.
yeah,
I've got something to show soon, and it's in my top 5. So yeah,
good on you. Good on you.
Interestingly, I don't see Steve Anderson in the chat. He's in the YouTube chat. Yeah, or was he in the?
He's in the Facebook. He's
in Facebook. Oh, that's right. Okay, fine. I won't see that because I'm just watching the YouTube one.
Yeah, because we stream on our Facebook group, the 5150 Show Facebook group, as well. Yeah. You know, we're cutting edge here.
Nothing if not multimedia.
But you know, we don't spend 2 hours of a show talking about where we stream on this show. Ooh. The second thing I'd like to talk about on my top 5 list, obviously in the course of you and I getting together here, guys, and folks in the chat, when we rank albums, you know, we love talking about films, you know, or documentaries that we've seen that are associated with a band or an act that we're talking about. And, you know, there's some bloody good ones, you know, that we've mentioned and spoken about, and there's a lot. And I've noticed over the last 10 years especially, there's been a lot of emphasis put on these documentaries, which is really, really good. You know, we've done a few shows, Brad, together on the ZZ Top documentary, and that just comes to my mind. But I was especially chuffed, you know, to hear, and, you know, I'm wearing my Led Zeppelin T-shirt that was given to me by Brad. I've got my Led Zeppelin poster there. But I was especially chuffed, Brad and Simon, that Led Zeppelin have given us... Sorry, I'm sorry, bro.
Don't be sorry.
Okay. A date of the long-anticipated film that we've spoken about on this channel for how many years? It seems like 3 or 4 years they've been talking about this film, you know, becoming Led Zeppelin. So we finally have a date, February next year. So...
Just in time.
So we'll be inundating you with Led Zeppelin content leading up and after the release of that film, guys. But very, very happy, Brad and Simon, to hear that. Made my day when I heard that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Simon.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, my next. My next thing is, I mean, I agree. The next thing is this show. You know, I look forward to this show every week. I look forward to, you know, the introduction to all the different types of music. I mean, there's lots of albums that I haven't heard necessarily particularly before, and to be dragged into new areas, I think is absolutely fantastic. So I look forward to every week, doing me. Now I've retired, I've got time to do my research, listen to it multiple times. I think that's what you have to say is that I probably do, and probably like you guys, I probably do about 10, 12 hours a week on the show. Listening to the album multiple times. You listen to it, and then you sit down and you really listen to it. You make notes about what's going on, the things that are going on, and then you do some research into background, individual songs, all sorts of things, and that probably takes 10, 12 hours a week. A day and a half a week to which is right. That's how you should do. So I think we all prepare like that amongst in our busy lives and run up and down. And I think it's and I love doing it every week. I love the idea that I'm doing it with somebody from Australia and somebody from New Zealand. I think that's the beauty of this platform, social media, that we come together each week from across the world, and brilliantly, people from across the world watch us astonishingly. But as Andrew said earlier, and I find that extraordinary that our tiny little channel has a due to this this mad thing called the internet has a world reach. Anybody from anywhere in the world can watch us, and I think that's something to be that humbles me massively. Extraordinary that that our little channel has that kind of reach and that kind of fan base, and people watch us from there. So hats off to everyone, and good morning to Helene O'Hara. Hope you're well.
Hey, Helene.
Nice to see you.
Hey.
And the people who come every week, Ellen, Helene, Gretch, John, all the rest of people, turn up every week, to support us when we go live and stuff. So thanks to everyone who does that. And it's fantastic and humbling at the same time, and we have a lot of laughs on this show. It's not all serious, but we take the music seriously, and we take what we're doing seriously in terms of our preparation and things. So I hope it shows a bit. But and this show is is one of the mainstays of my week. What I have to do this week for the show and things. And now I don't have to do work. I can I can focus on this, but it's fantastic. So that's one of my best for this year is this show, and you guys, and everyone in the chat. So thank you very much.
Well done, Simon.
So Andrew, that means you can delegate a little bit more to Simon now, because he's got plenty of time.
Well done. Thank you, Simon. Well said.
Yeah. Okay. My next one. These are mine are in no particular order, gentlemen.
Same as mine.
Yeah.
I just thought I would scramble it, maybe to try and beat you guys to the punch on something. That's all. Because I'm sorry, guys. I had to say it that way. So in February,
competitive, Brad.
Yeah, that's of course. In February this year, we'll very the world was very lucky to get this album from Philip Sayce. I think it's a stellar album. It's got a lot of scribble on it on this one, so obviously you signed it for me. Thank you, Brad. Not Simon. Thank you, Brad. Simon, you're not looking. Thank you, Brad.
Apologies.
Thank you. Not Simon. I'm joking.
Get that off.
Yeah, so I'm just, and I want to talk about a couple of things musically and that, obviously, to the channel and support artists like this, because I would love, the same done for me, people to promote my music. And this is how we make music, that we love continue, in my opinion. We spread the word, we get it out there. And if we can small contribution on this channel to get people to listen to an album, then so be it. It's a great album. The Wolves Are Coming. I forgot to mention that. The Wolves Are Coming by Philip Sayce. So go and check that out. It's a great album. it's got some of my favorite Philip Sayce songs on there that he's ever done. So check it out, Andrew.
And also, Brad and I were blessed and fortunate enough to have an interview here on the channel. So if you are watching on a replay, I'll include somewhere here a link to that video. And thanks to Philip sharing that, and also us sharing that on Philip's Facebook groups. You know, we picked up a lot of subscribers, bro. You know, we are a couple of thousand subscribers, you know, because of Philip Sayce. So, you know, if there are any Philip Sayce fans who subscribed because of that, you know, let us know in the comments, because, you know, we know where a lot of our subs came from. So thank you.
Yeah.
So Tim asked a good question. Why are we called the 5150 Show? So Tim, originally we were called on the channel the British Electric Blues Show. But we just narrowed it down because that was just a little bit too long, and you know, some other people were saying, you know, it is a long name, and for marketing purposes, you know, on other social media stuff, you know, it just sort of naturally fell into the 5150 Show, because we were doing a regular Van Halen show on the channel called the 5150 Show with Steve Anderson, who is in the chat here somewhere. So Van Halen being a big part of our channel, we've picked up again a lot of subscribers and viewers to our channel because of that. And so that brings me obviously to the next question of our top things that happened this year, and obviously the long anticipated Alex Van Halen biography that came out, that we've discussed and we've talked about. We haven't done that in any real depth.
No.
I'm a big Van Halen fan, and I'll say the positive thing about this is that we were blessed to get something. So thank you, Alex.
Yes.
For giving us this, and God bless you.
Yeah, I'll just back you up there, Andrew, quickly while someone's busy. I've just got to, you know, say, regardless of what with that book and where he's drawn a lot of the stuff from, as long as credit is given to the right people, that's obviously on the second edition. Hopefully that will happen. But my point being, if you are not a very strong reader and you prefer to listen to an audiobook, I strongly recommend, even if you already read the book, or you do both, go and listen to the audiobook version of it, because it is Alex Van Halen reading it, and you can hear a lot of the sentiment behind what he's saying. Because when you read text, sometimes it's not, you can take it whichever way you like when you read it, Andrew. But then when you listen to it, you can actually put a bit in context, and you can hear in his voice at times he's still very sad, like grieving. So yeah, it's great to finally get something from Alex after all these years, since Ed passed. And I just thought, yeah, I'll back you up there, Andrew. I think that's a good one to go and buy and support, but also go listen to the audiobook.
Cheers. Rock Professor.
Absolutely, yeah. My next one is a couple of other things that have sustained me through the year. Words in Your Ear podcast and a Danny Baker podcast, both of which are fantastic. The Word in Your Ear one is fantastically educational, and kind of, you know, they're really good at talking about lots of things. And so I look forward to all the shows they do, and they do a lot of interviews with people who've got books out and things. So you know, it's that's really good. And the Danny Baker one is a subscription one, it's a Patreon only one, but it's just fantastic. He's an amazing broadcaster, always has been, and he you know, he has a love of words and a love of things that I love too, and the minutiae of things, and that we all love, you know. And you know, there's always something interesting to this week's fun fact I discovered. Do you know the British pop star Kim Wilde? Do you remember Kim Wilde?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, on her first album, right, when she recorded her first album, which is early 80s, mid 80s. The backing band on her first album was a band called the Enid, who were a very strange kind of prog rock band that then masqueraded as Kim Wilde's backing band on a mid 80s pop classic. Extraordinary. Really?
I did not know that.
Oh well,
See,
if you check out Enid, you can cut. How did the Enid get to there? Nobody knows. But
you learn something new on this show every time.
yeah, maybe things you didn't want to know. But that's just an example. This week's example of just stuff that came up. So they're really good. And Word in Your Ear is on Spotify. Anyone can listen to that. It's for free. It's not, and it's on YouTube as well. As I said, Danny Bakers is on Patreon, so you have to be a Patreon member. But worth £5 a month of anyone's money to watch it.
Hey, Phil.
Yes, absolutely. Morning, Phil. Good to see you. So yeah, that's my next excellent thing from this year.
Awesome. I'm next.
You're next, Brad.
All right. So
sorry, Brad. I should hand over, shouldn't I? Come on, you know what to do by now.
Yeah, you should have learned. Jeez.
Jeez.
Mine's a bit of a bundle because I just thought I'd throw it all together. But I just thought quickly, I won't fester on it too long. You've already done what I was going to say, Andrew, the book. So the audio book as well. Let's go and listen and read. But the exciting thing for me was things like this getting released with extra. I mean, we all know this album, or especially on this channel. 5150 show. We are big Van Halen fans, and obviously, I just dropped something out of it. But the whole box set, I found it a wonderful package and very encouraging to finally get some new Van Halen stuff that hasn't actually been released officially, if that makes sense. So remastering and things like that, and may I add, the Sammy era. So that's wonderful. So I wanted to bundle that together. That finally we're getting something from the Van Halen camp, which is hopefully a sign of things to come. Let's hope and pray that we get more. And I'll quickly, and I'm not going to go on about it too much because I've already done it. If Steve Anderson's here, this one as well. That's my Van Halen bundle. So I officially don't actually. I officially shouldn't have this guitar in my possession till my next year's birthday. But I had to get it because it was on Facebook Marketplace for a steal, and being the Ed fan that I am, I thought, you know what, I needed to get this. Been wanting one. I've been wanting one since they came out. And again, I don't want to go on about it too much, but the prices of these things brand new here in Australia for what I call a Mexican custom shop guitar, ridiculous. And it's Ed would probably not be very happy, to be honest with you, that they are so expensive here in Australia. And I'm thinking probably the same for you in New Zealand, Andrew.
Yeah.
That being said, this came up, and I've been keeping an eye out for one for a few years now, and it poked its ugly head up, because it is not the prettiest guitar in the world, but that's why it's called the Frankie sign. It's pretty much. I'm going to be doing a few things to this, and I'll keep you guys in the loop with what I think.
Brad, technically, Frankenstein is the person who made the monster, so it should be called the monster, shouldn't it, rather than the Frankenstein?
I've got a better word for it. It's I reckon it should be called the mutt, because it's a bit of a mutt guitar. It's like a
mutt guitar. Yeah,
but yeah, I just wanted to bundle that Van Halen stuff together, guys. So Andrew, it's over to you, my friend.
No problem. No problem.
Fantastic.
Thank you for that. Love talking about gear and showing gear, and I'll save that for the next round when I show you some of the things that I got. But Okay, so this is quite an interesting little thing that's made me really, really happy, and it sort of follows on to, guys, what I was saying about the Led Zeppelin film being released. So I've been eagerly anticipating and watching and garnishing information about the new Bob Dylan biopic coming out. And
Yes.
like a lot of people that I know, we were sort of skeptical about it. But then you realize, Brad and Simon, the amount of effort, the amount of research, not only the producers and the directors, but everybody who's acting, you know, from the girl that's acting as
Susie.
Hmm?
She called Susie. Is that what she's called?
No, who was the girl that sang with Bob Dylan early on?
Oh, Joan Baez.
Joan, from the girl who's acting as Joan Baez, and Timothy learning and playing the guitar. Brad was just remarkable. Singing. So everybody's actually singing when they're recording that. So, you're using period correct gear, Simon. So, the producers and the actors didn't want that film to be a film where Bob Dylan's playing a guitar that he played in 1974, Brad.
Yeah.
And he, he's playing at the Monterey Pop Festival or Jazz Festival, whatever you want to call it, in 1965, one of the most important pieces of rock and roll history. And they get the guitar wrong. He's playing a Les Paul or something, which unfortunately some music biopics have done over the years. One that comes
most famously Marty McFly in Back to the Future, where he plays that Gibson 335 that wasn't invented for another year or two.
Yeah. And also in the Bohemian Rhapsody, there's a period there where they're using the Brian May guitar, and he didn't have the tuners. He wasn't using those tuners, Brad. In 1974, it wasn't until late 1970s he was using the tuners. So it's just those little bits of detail, that they've clearly looked at. And from what I've seen, the trailer of this film, from what I've seen, has inspired me already. So to the point where the last week I've been watching Bob Dylan clips and interviews on YouTube that I've never seen before. And so I'll stop there because there's a negative thing that I'm going to talk about in context to Bob Dylan. But I'm just blown away by how important and how influential, and they've caught that 64, 65 period of Bob Dylan. I think they've managed to capture some magic there, so I think it's going to be great. Simon.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's that 65 Newport Focus when he goes electric and stuff is one of the great seismic events in rock history, I would claim.
Thanks, John.
There have certainly been others, but no, he's not. Kurt Russell is not in the film, Phil. Don't worry. Well, not as Bob Dylan anyway. Timothy Chalamet. My next one is particularly, gigs. I go and see my friend Ariel Posen in a few months ago on the second anniversary of my mum's death. So and I went to see him the night after my mum died, which was could I say, an excellent decision by me. I was in two minds whether to go, but actually, as ever, the cathartic healing power of music was evident 2 years ago, and he was fantastic this year as well. And he's an amazing guitar player and a singer, songwriter, and things. Just out with his little duo, just going around the UK, playing small theatres and clubs. It was really enjoyable, intimate show. So hats off to Ariel, and whenever I see him, it always sustains the soul to see him play. I think he's a great player, and he's a fantastic guy as well. So that's my next best of the year.
Thank you, Simon.
Well done, Simon.
Brad.
Well, that's a a very moving thing you said there, Simon, about the power of music. It's a very powerful and sometimes a wonderful healer. So for things that so well done. My next one is, I don't know where we're up to, 4 or 5. What are we up to?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Keep going.
Okay.
I've done 4.
Another
Four.
album, another album release that I think is worth notable
Orgy.
about. Damned to the Orgy by Slash, and that's his first blues record. I don't know if you guys can see that properly, but it's a wonderful record of covers, blues covers with one original song on it, and I highly recommend you go and check it out. It's got some cool tones on there. Great to hear, Slash doing some blues standards and really giving the blues music a go. And I honestly believe this is a great move, like I mentioned when we ranked it, for Slash moving forward, because you can be a blues artist at 90, 100, doesn't matter. You keep playing blues till the day you die. Something tells me, I don't know whether he'll be, playing Sweet Child of Mine and Welcome to the Jungle when he's 90. I don't see that. And I think it's a really smart move. We saw Gary Moore do it back in the 90s, guys.
Good point.
And I think it's introducing the blues again to another generation. Let's put it that way.
Well done.
Go and check it out, guys, if you haven't done that already, and support blues music. Andrew.
Yeah, well done, bro. Thank you for that. And we were fortunate enough to rank that album when it came out, and I was blown away by it. And it's on my playlist, and I've probably listened to it dozens of times, bro, since it's been released. So thank you for doing a shout out to that. And I want to do a shout out to Nelson for supporting the channel by gifting 5 memberships. Thank you, Nelson. It means a lot.
Thanks, Nelson.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. My last fifth. The last thing on my top 5 list, obviously, is gear, folks. So I've got 2 things I'd love to share with you, if I can, just a little bit, please, and if you can indulge me.
Or indulge us.
Indulge us.
I managed to get a Jazzmaster. So I have never had a Jazzmaster. It's a 40th anniversary Squier Jazzmaster that came out a couple of years ago, and I'm telling you, it's just a fantastic guitar. And, it's the old cliche that guitars do sound different. Well, this one just doesn't sound anything like I've got. Sits in the lap. So you know how they say that it was designed for jazz guitarists to sit down? It's one of the most comfortablest guitars ever. And go and check out the Squier stuff, because the classic vibe range is, affordable. The last bit of gear I want to show you guys, I showed you last week. But
the bass.
My Walnut, made in Japan, SG bass, short scale. So I've been playing this over the week, 2 weeks, doing some Jack Bruce licks, cream stuff, and if there's one thing I can point out to you, if you want to capture some of that stuff, that early cream stuff, or that cream era stuff, a short scale bass does it. There is a difference between a short scale and a long scale bass. So go and check out the attack, that attack that you get on a short scale, because it's 4 inches shorter than a standard scale bass. So, yeah. And look, she's been beaten up, knocked around. I changed the bridge since the last time I showed you guys. This is a pivot bridge where you can do intonations. So I just got a cheap one off AliExpress, Brad, $30. Whacked it on, bit of engineering.
Beautiful.
And I moved the pick down a bit, not the pick up. I moved it down a fraction, chiseled it out because that tonal variation. Some guys actually have it a little bit further down, but I want that aesthetic. But that extra 20 mils makes a difference.
I'm sure it does. Tightens
Yeah.
it up a little bit. Yeah.
Nice.
You got it, bro. You got it. Tightens it. Yeah, because it's a bit flabby.
Yeah. That's good. Well done.
Cheers,
well
bro.
done, Andrew. Well done.
And,
You're,
first shout out to AliExpress on the show.
$30 and it turned up within a week. You could go and get probably a hip shot one and pay $300-400, but that's the price of the guitar.
yeah.
Yeah. What's the
Rock
point?
Professor.
Yeah. So I think my number one thing, it's come as a surprise to nobody. It's two things really, but the Bruce Springsteen concert in Cardiff that I went to in May is definitely one of the best things that's happened this year. Absolutely, it was 3 hours, and I've said this before, but I didn't quite know what to expect. He's 74 years old. Can he still do it? I saw him in 1981. Did I mention I saw him in 1981 on the River Tour? Not the height of his powers, but when he was young, and did a 4-hour show then, and I didn't really know whether it would, and I was pleased, amazed, slightly taken aback by how good it was, how much of a rock and roll show it was, but also because he's been doing it a long time. The one thing you could say he's got on material, the material to do a load of different gigs, but for 3 hours, he can do whatever it is, 30 songs, 3 hours, whatever it is, and make them have a theme. And and it was a really moving and cathartic concert, and I wasn't expecting it to be, I have to say, and absolutely, Tim, he does everything the same every night, and I was surprised by that. I mean, and he was fantastic, and the band were amazing, and he has a big band to he takes on tour stuff, employing lots of musicians, never a bad thing. But it was fantastic, and I was I was moved by it and thrilled by it, and thrilled to see that somebody in their mid-70s can still really kick it out and make something that powerful. So that was fantastic, and alongside it, as part of the same thing, would be the documentary Road Diary as well, which is well worth a look if you haven't seen it. It's as ever with those things, it's the little things that that you pick up on and stuff. If you're like me, and you've been a lifelong fan of the of him as an artist, it's the little things like Steve Van Zandt describing how Springsteen finally made him the musical director, and he goes, only 40 years too late. It's kind of thing, and all those kind of things. And the other interesting thing was that him saying to the band, yeah, we can rehearse it up, but actually, I like the bits that the audience wants to see, are the bits where it goes slightly wrong. And he's realised that that it doesn't have to all be perfect, and actually the bits where it's not quite perfect are the bits that the audience love as much as anything else, and to having that element where you don't quite know if it's going to go all right or not. I mean, there was some film of him the other day making a mess of Hungry Heart, with Steve Van Zandt, and then just looking at each other and laughing their heads off, and then counting himself back in. I'm not quite sure who made the mistake. I'm sure it was him, but so I think that retaining that element of danger and of kind of improvisation, not quite knowing what's going to happen as well, so it makes it a fantastic show. But yeah, the documentary's well worth having a look as well. It's a lovely thing, and lots of contributions from fans as well, which chimes with the show, I think, as well. So that's kind of probably my best thing of the year. One of my best things of the year for sure. It was Bruce
Well done.
Springsteen stuff.
Well done.
Brad.
Well, mine was no secret. I went to the UK, so I ticked a lot of things off my bucket list, guys.
Wow.
I got to see Eric Clapton at Royal Albert Hall. I've been, something that I've always wanted to do since, seeing the Four Faces of Eric Clapton on MTV and then 24 Nights, but also Cream at Royal Albert Hall. And all the performances that of other artists that have played at Royal Albert Hall, but it was always a dream of mine to go and see Clapton perform at Royal Albert Hall, and I thought it would never happen. And it's that's my partner who just put a foot down and said, "No, we're going. That's it. I don't know. It's not good time financially, but it doesn't matter. We're going to go now because when are we going to go? We might as well go now." So. But I ticked off a lot of things off my bucket list, guys, and I think I've shared a lot of them with you guys on the channel. But probably the biggest one for me would be, hey,
oh, look at that! Doing the Abbey Road walk.
Well done.
Yeah, so that was a big one. Also, I guess at the end of the day, going around Liverpool, going to Jimi Hendrix's apartment, the list goes on. Jim Morrison's grave. I'm just looking at all the pictures. Savile Row, going to 3 Savile Row, and my partner took a killer picture. Actually, I'll share it with you. I should post this one, shouldn't I? It's a bloody good photo.
Yeah, look at that. Nice.
Great photo. And that was going to Europe and ticking off a lot of things on my bucket list musically, but also other things that I've always wanted to do, over in Europe and see. There, obviously, I'd love to go back and tick off a few more things. I've got to see the location where the album cover for Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars was. A lot of these things that, Simon, you probably take for granted because you live in London, in England. You live in England. You live in the UK.
England, yeah. You
can just drive there and have a look. You know what I mean? I can't. I've waited half my life or more to go and see Abbey Road. So yeah, that's probably my biggest one of this year, guys. To be honest with you.
Well done.
Yeah, it was an amazing trip
Carl
this
in
year,
the
wasn't
chat.
it? Absolutely extraordinary. Morning, Carl.
Hey, Carl.
Oh, found a member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to see Carl in the chat, and also Arvin's in the chat, one of the originals as well, going back to day one. So thank you, guys. So that's our top 5, folks. So feel free to add 1 or 2 things that have happened to you, or some great things, or something that you want to celebrate that's occurred over the last 12 months. Now we're on to the not so good things, or the whingy or the whiny or the gripey things that we want to talk about, and it just balances out. Yeah, it just balances out. Timeouts. So what we're going to do is I'll kick off, and then we'll go to Brad, and then we'll go to the Rock Professor. So we'll go the opposite way, folks. So the first thing that I want to do and have a bit of a gripe about, obviously it's related to Van Halen, and someone's got to do it on the channel. Someone has to talk about Van Halen, because it's a topic that we talk about often. We celebrate the great things that Van Halen have done over the years. Getting this book is one great thing, but also there's a downfall when you consider exactly what's happening with Led Zeppelin as an example, with Jimmy Page curating all the information, getting the music together, being behind this great biopic that's going to be coming out that has the blessings of all the members of Led Zeppelin. So they're going to get everything right on this as well. It's not going to be an interpretation. These guys are part and parcel of it. You know, so it would be good. Would be good for Van Halen to do something like that now when you consider the age of the guys. Alex is using a cane to walk. There's a lot of information still available, Brad, behind the scenes, a lot of music. You know, I know they don't owe us anything. We've bought it all, and that's it. It's a transaction. But when you consider, Simon, what other bands are doing as far as curating their legacy, you know, Van Halen as a band are missing the mark big time.
I absolutely agree with that. I think that it's, you know, that, and we talked about this on this show, you know, that their curation of their legacy is you know, leaves everything to be desired, doesn't it? If you're a fan of things, I've spoken about it before, but I'll say again, very small example: the Bruce Springsteen concert I went to in Cardiff. I bought the CDs of it, you know, because he's got an official website that sells. It doesn't do every concert, but they do like every other one, that kind of thing. So you've got a pretty good chance of getting the gig you went to on CD. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's, you know, it makes, you know, it's a sort of official bootleg type thing, but, you know, it means you get a properly mixed version of the concert you went to see. What could be nicer than that? You know, I know we're in 2024, not 1984, but nevertheless, I think it's a really good example of, you know, of just, being able to curate your legacy and curate things. Springsteen put out loads of stuff. Dylan's got a whole bootleg series, for God's sake, all those things. There's plenty of really cool examples of of people doing their legacy and managing and curating and stuff. And I think that they do Van Halen fans a great disservice by not really doing that at all, do they?
Yeah.
Keeping all so I agree.
I agree. Totally.
Brad,
Pull your finger out, Van Halen. Come on.
Yeah. Pull your finger out. Well, look, one of mine is related a little bit to what you just sort of spoke about. I'll just elaborate a little bit more on the Van Halen camp. Still a lack of an Eddie tribute, really. I mean, I know Alex, by the sounds of it's not in good health. But it's pretty sad that it's probably just gone to the wayside. And it's actually really sad to hear Alex talk about how it was a pretty non-eventful death for an eventful life. And I think they should celebrate it some way, shape or form for the fans, for the family, for everyone involved that loves, Van Halen, really. I mean, they were talking about it like for a while there. I know Alex, hopefully when Alex is in good health, maybe they'll do it. But, get more stuff out at least. Do something to, help keep the legacy alive. I think it'll always be there, but why not do more stuff like this? But, of stuff that everyone's screaming for, and it's not out. That's my first gripe, guys, and I'm sticking to it.
good on you, bro.
Simon.
My first gripe of 20 is missing out on my guitar breaks holiday this year. I didn't go on a guitar break scene this year. I couldn't go in. I couldn't go in May, unfortunately, because we're still mucking about and doing my mum's house. But I couldn't really go then. So, and that was with Chris Buck, and I would have really liked to have gone to that.
Okay.
And so I haven't been on one this year. So so I definitely feel bereft for not having been on it. So, but next year. Well, next year I've got some cool holidays. But yes. So sorry, Andrew, back to you.
No problem. We'll look forward to that, Simon. So cross fingers, everything lines up, the stars line up, and you can get away and hang out and catch up with some guys. The second thing that I want to have a bit of a gripe about, and it feeds into Brad and Simon, my infatuation at the moment with Bob Dylan and watching him at these press conferences. And it's interesting because some of these reporters are asking him, does he sing protest songs? And he says, no, I sing love songs. and they say to him, do you like protest songs? Do you know what a protest song is? And he says, yes, it would be me not singing. You know, and you know, it's very interesting to see how the journalists back in '64, Brad, were trying to sort of hedge him into saying or talking about the civil rights movement or what was happening in America from a political perspective. And clearly his music was being involved in these collectives, but he was refusing to say that I'm going to be political in my conversation, in my discussion. You can take my music and do with it what you want. I wish the fuck that artists and actors would do that today, because the way that they jump on and talk about politics these days is just, I cringe. I find it cringy. You know, telling you who you should be voting for, telling you who you should be, supporting. You know, you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're an actor, you're an actress. Go away.
They are extraordinary, those 60s things, and the stuff they ask him and things. And he's, bearing in mind, he's like 23 years old or something.
23, 22, and he was just
like,
displaying.
Can you
his
rearrange
acumen.
the world in a different order? It's just brilliant, isn't it? Yeah.
His acumen is just incredible. I've never seen. I'm infatuated with the guy. The way that he has these clearly establishment reporters on a string.
Yeah.
It's remarkable, Brad.
It's hilarious. You know, once you get into the humor, you know, it's like that. You know, it's what's it? My favourite is, do you have any advice for the youth of today? You know, it's like, whoa, what am I supposed to say to that? You know, because they want him to do something, and he says,
every actor,
keep a good head and always carry a light bulb.
Yeah, but every actor in Hollywood and every artist in LA and New York has got plenty of advice.
It actually, I find it too distracting for people to make correct and accurate decisions, if that makes sense.
Thanks, MacDog. Cheers, Brad.
Amazing.
Well, my next gripe is that Andrew swears on our show all the time. Joking.
I only said it once.
Yeah. Once the show. Yes, once the show. Yes.
Hey, throughout the year, rubbish. Okay, my next one is one that I think not having Eric Clapton on our show as a guest at this point. I've seen him, and come on, Eric.
What is he doing? Yes.
I know you watch our show. And you clearly go on other people's YouTube shows that are not up to speed with your history, and I guess, for lack of better ways of putting it, asking questions without the correct dates, and they're not really got their information right, when you've got a bunch of guys on this show that are almost historians on Eric Clapton. You know, we could almost tell you about your life better than you probably recall it. So please come on our show, Eric, and do us a favor and appease us, make us feel like we're achieving something. I mean, look at the right hand side of our screen. I mean, right above Simon's head.
Yeah, you're right there. Good point, Brad.
I am now Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton.
And a big part of our show is to do with Eric Clapton. So, for crying out loud, Eric, get on our show, please. Simon.
Good point. No. I want to talk about that. Yeah. No, we want to talk about that for a second, because that point that you raised, we had a bit of a laugh about that, where the guy got Journeyman, the album Journeyman and 24 Nights, the decade wrong. and also a couple of other bits and pieces. We're not even going to mention the channel's name because one of the things that I personally don't like is if you're going to be talking about music, if you're going to be talking about music from a historical perspective and from a current affairs perspective, you have to have an ability for people to make comments. Any music channel out there that doesn't allow you to make comments isn't worth subscribing to, in my opinion, because they aren't going to give you an opportunity to correct them or contradict them. So you can contradict us and correct us anytime you want when you watch our channel. We invite you to. That's just a personal thing that I have. I don't subscribe to any channel that takes away your ability to make comments. What's the point? There's no point watching that channel, in my opinion.
No, you're right. You did smack on right.
Sorry, bro.
Simon, I think.
It's fine.
I think your next gripe, Simon, should be that Andrew jumped in and took your spotlight.
Oh, that's my. Wait a minute. That's my number one gripe, Brad. That's coming up. But not yet. Stop. My next one is if I hear my next one is a bit of a joke one, really. But if I hear another person use the word insane about anything, I'll be round their house with a pointy finger. It just drives me nuts. Everything's it's insane. He turned up at my door. It was insane. Oh, he got another guitar. It was insane. Oh, it wasn't bloody insane. Okay, it's just.
Who we were talking about? Insane.
Anybody you like. It's just anybody who says the word insane is going to get a business agent from me.
Andrew, I think you need to change the slogan, Andrew. Instead of TikTok is time for rock, say our show is insane. The professor up the wall.
Yes, everything insane. It's just like it's not insane. All right, not everything is. It's just it drives me absolutely bananas. So yeah, you say the word insane in any context other than to do with somebody's sanity, I should be running your house with a pointy finger.
I think everyone in the chat's going to bombard you with insane.
Yeah. Yes,
you know what?
yes. That's it, Greg. Literally insane. Oh, it was insane.
You just opened the floodgates.
I know. I went to the shops. It was insane. It's not insane to go to the shops.
All right, Andrew.
Anyway, so that's my next gripe from 2024. The word insane.
Andrew, can you take over before someone goes insane?
No problem, bro. That's just insane.
They're all doing it now.
This show's insane. Well done. Insane. Rock Professor and the Membrane. Oh, that's a good rap song. Oh, Lord. So I've only got one gripe left. And it feeds on to what a couple of other YouTube channels over the years have been talking about. And I was listening to he's a country singer, Chris Stapleton, the other day, and he was talking about how country music today isn't what country music was when he was growing up listening to country music. And so one of the things that he does as an artist is try to continue a tradition of offering authenticity. And another guy, Justin Townes Earl, did the same thing before he passed away a few years ago. Did a documentary where he was talking about how the business has taken over country music and all country songs sound the same. Who's that famous guy, Simon, that's got about 6 million followers? Who does the music stuff?
To give me more of a clue than that, who's that? Oh,
the name
you
is
mean yes, Rick Beato.
Rick Beato. So, forgive me, Rick. I know you watch us. Forgive me but Rick. Yeah, you're right,
All
John.
his
Rick
free time.
Beato. And one of the things that he likes to talk about too is how the top 10, Brad, all sounds the same. And a couple of days ago, I was talking with some work colleagues and some business colleagues about the 1984 version of Do They Know It's Christmas by Band Aid, which celebrated its 40th anniversary last month. And we were talking about music in the 80s from that 1984 perspective, and we had a look at the top 10 and the top 20, pulled out our phones and had a look. And the top 10 was the variety of music, that pop music, I'm saying, not blues music or rock music, but pop music. The variety that you had in the 80s was incredible. You had reggae, you had some elements of punk still there. You had disco. You had the New Romantics. You had some country and Irish stuff with bands like the Pogues, all in the top 10. So there was a variety. And if you go and have a look at the top 10 today, every song sounds the same. So I look forward to the day when we're going to have individuality in pop music, Simon and Brad.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yes, and not just following the homogenous sounds and using the same chord sequences and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Brad, I think it's your turn.
Yeah, I've only got really a couple more. Whether we want to bang on about them or not, they're not that important really. But I guess this one is a recent one that's just popped up. John ZD351 mentioned it before. Being an Iron Maiden fan and going and seeing them this year, one of the not so top things that's happened this year is hearing that Nico McBrain is retiring from touring, which is very sad. But he's given 42 years of his life. He had a few health issues a couple of years ago, strokes and whatnot. So, I think, his statement that he put out there was very heartfelt, and, I think he's doing it probably for the fans, just as much as himself, so that they get, I don't think he feels like he's delivering what he should at the moment. But in saying that, I thought he was fantastic when I went to see him this year. So yeah, it's Oh, okay. John's just 3 months before the tour they did. Yeah, I mean, he's in his 70s. I understand, where he's at, but from my perspective, recovery for a stroke doesn't just happen overnight. It takes a bit of period of time. So who knows? Hopefully we see him behind the kit again touring. But I'm hoping it's not, if Maiden continue to do more music moving forward, hopefully he's part of the recording process at least, guys. So, because it's, to have a band that's got the same, a strong lineup like that for 42 years is pretty amazing, really. Let's be honest. And the intensity they play, I thought he did a great job in Melbourne a few months ago. So I wasn't seeing him, but anyway, that's one of my not so top fives this year.
Well done. Thanks, bro.
So my next one is not meeting you when you came to the UK. Bloody devastated by that. It's just that. I understand this completely, but it's fine. But if you had an itinerary so full.
I know. It's actually it's in my notes for the UK, and I just went off the top of my head and didn't read it. But I was actually going to put that in my notes and say that. It was just disappointing that we didn't get the chance to catch up. But I'm sure maybe it'll happen somewhere down the track. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to make it happen. But yeah, I was devastated not to that. And as I say, just you came with a goal to to cover as many things as possible. I mean, hell, you got it. If you not doesn't happen every year, does it? That sort of trip, So I mean, I understand completely, but it did make me smile. I said we got down to it. Yeah, I can meet you at 10 o'clock on Thursday night. After this, but yeah, I'm sad to not have met you in person when you came. So
yeah, it was disappointing. I must admit, but it will happen. I'm sure. Look, I'm not planning anything immediately, but I definitely will be coming back to the UK at some point. So, but yeah, and that being said, I'd love to go to New Zealand at some point and terrorize Andrew's neighbours by playing guitar there in his room there or something.
He's looking worried.
Andrew, turn it up.
Yeah. Where's that Marshall Blues breaker I need to plug into and wind it all up to 10?
Let's see what this thing really does.
Shake New Zealand to its core, all of it. So yeah, that's my second to last gripe. It's not sort of worst thing. It's just missing meeting, which would have been fantastic.
Yeah,
Andrew, I don't know if you've got anything else.
No, I think. Oh, well, yeah, I'm gonna the shows we didn't do, if I can. The last thing I've got. I know that we were supposed to. I'd penciled in a show for us, or for me, especially to do a show to catch up with Bob and Pete to talk about his Tom Petty cover band, and talk about Tom Petty, but. Just to give you guys a bit of an idea, I do have a life, and one of the great things about doing this channel for a while is that we know that on a Saturday, my time after lunch, fits in well with the guys doing the Van Halen show, guys. So that works. So we don't have to negotiate anything there. It's just, okay, this is the day. This is and obviously with us, the three of us here, we know the day and the time. And, so I did, though, in all honesty, say to Bob, look, if you want to join us, this, together, because he's wanted to do a show with Brad, and I've, a couple of times too. And I said, well, at 10 o'clock in the morning, Brad, you were going to gigs and stuff like that. So it's not always easy. So... Yeah. So the shows we didn't do, but we've got something penciled in for next year. So
yeah, make it happen. Yeah, cool, fantastic.
Yeah, well, I think that pretty much wraps up our gripes.
I've got one more, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a list as well. I'm quite happy to not go on about the rest. I think we've covered the important ones. But Simon, go for it.
Cool. I've got one more, which is a very personal thing to me, which is selling the family home after 55 years. Having it we moved there in July 1968, and we sold it in August 2024. So 56 years. So yeah, that's definitely one of the worst things that I've had to do this year, was sort all of that out. And
I couldn't even imagine how difficult that would have been, Simon. So, I guess the only thing I can say is, our warmest thoughts and prayers to you, mate, about that, because that's all we can do.
Well, no, and thank you, and everyone here has been very supportive of that, and it's still got this. I'll just show you this. It's quite fun as a thing. So, can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So that's
1733.
Yeah, 1733. That is the desk of my 6 times great grandfather.
Wow.
Wow.
That's one of the things that we got from my parents' house. It's amazing, isn't it? 1733. Look at that.
That's unreal, Simon.
Nearly 300 years
Wow.
old. I think. So, and books and all sorts of stuff, but that we're still
Wow.
sorting out and going through. But yeah, so it's so that was definitely something of a wrench, an emotional wrench this year, because over that length of time in a house, you build up a lot of memories and a lot of experience and a lot of fun times with the family and things. So to sell it after that long, but somebody else will take it on, and it reminds me we're all just custodians of things. We don't own
Sure.
stuff. We're not. You're here for a short time. And somebody else will make memories in that house after us, and hope they're as good as ours. So that
That's
was
it.
my
Brilliant.
number one bummer for this year.
Brilliant, brilliant put it, mate. Well done.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations, Simon, on getting that desk and keeping it in your family. That's really important. You got a connection there, and I really appreciate that, because I love history. And going back to 1733, this country wasn't even discovered then. So, and Australia was probably no, not even Australia. No. No. Yeah. So we were undiscovered. Wow. Well done. So again, folks, I'm just mindful of the time. We're gonna end the show shortly because Brad is tired from his travelling up north and back again. Some Aussie albums, you guaranteed 100%. Helene, we're going to do Back in Black. That's on the list. We were supposed to do that this year, and we're going to do Cold Chisel. We're going to do a Cold Chisel album, maybe Circus Animals or something like that. But yeah, definitely gonna In Excess.
Yeah, we might even do.
Yeah.
Let's just wait and see guest wise who I can organise for next year. But we might even do Baby Animals. First record or second record. We'll see how we go. But on that note, I'm chipping away at a few things for next year, guest wise and things like that. So it's always good to have some. What I call celebrities on the show, and certainly as a
celebrities,
or heroes for me. I don't like to call people idols. I like to call them heroes because they're they inspire, and they're like supermen to me. They do remarkable things with their music. So it'd be good to get some people on. I know we'll get Philip Sayce on again at some point.
Yep.
We'll get these people on and chip away at a couple of things, and we'll see what we can do, guys. Make 2025 an even bigger year for the channel. But I'd really love my biggest wish for everyone here in the chat and anyone that's actually watching this later is to push people onto our channel, because we try to grow organically and as much as possible, and we're a tight-knit community, and we'd love that to expand to more like-minded people. So let's spread it, guys. Push the 5150 show out there, and let's get it up to 11,000 subscribers, and then 12, and hopefully 20, and then 50, then 100,000.
Awesome. Appreciate it, bro. We're going to be back next week, folks, for the last show, the last official show of the year. So you guys know, if you've been hanging around us for a while, we're going to stream for about 6 hours, and we'll have a lot of people on. If you want to come on and want to get a link, let one of us know. We look forward to that. We'll have the Van Halen boys here. Hugh will be on. John's going to jump on, and we're just going to talk about things that has happened this year. Got to be a good show, and what Santa's going to bring us.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic. All right.
Rock Professor.
Fantastic. I shall say goodnight to everyone. We should say goodnight to Adam Powell, who's going to bed. Adam, thanks for sticking with us. Hope you well. Helene O'Hara. Helene, thank you for your support this year, and coming back after some time away. Fantastic. Lovely to see you every week. It's fantastic. Johnny Heartbreaker as well. Of course, Johnny, one of our staunchest supporters. So, Johnny, thanks for all your support this year. Hugh Caldwell, I hope you'll be coming on soon in the new year. Hugh, do another round with you. That'll be fantastic. Arvin, fantastic. As ever, another one of our supporters, John ZD351. Fantastic to have you on this year, John. We must do more. That would be great the next year. Carl as well, the founder member of the of this illustrious channel with Andrew. So I discovered Carl and Andrew talking about stuff. Joining in the chat. Look where I am now.
This is like Hotel California, Simon. You can check it.
Check out. You can never leave. That's it. That's it.
You got it, bro.
Great Zeppelin as well. Great long timer. Who else have we had? 54 Mac Dog as well. Thanks, 54 Mac Dog, for joining. Tim Farrell as well. Tim, nice to see you. I hope you subscribed and you enjoyed and catch up one or two of the other shows, which is showcasing what we really do, which is doing ranking the tracks on each of an album out of 10. Slightly crazy.
Yeah.
But Hugh Caldwell, Ellen, of course, Ellen, the faithful and here every week, Ellen is Brad's mum, who's always here. Thank you so much for your support.
So grab your grab your Christmas T-shirts and your Christmas Santa hats and your reindeer ears and jump on next week, Simon.
Yes, all of that. Tim, who else was on? Right at the top. I've missed Johnny's and John's D312.
Thanks, John, for being a big supporter of my music as well. I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
Well done.
Dwight as well. Dwight Bailey as well. Dwight the Hitman Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for dropping by. Dwight, fantastic to see you. Nelson as well. Nelson Rodriguez. Great to see you as well. So hopefully I've got everybody. And but thanks to everyone for your support this year. It's been great, and we have a lot of fun doing this. And thanks for supporting us and being part of it.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see you with Santa Claus next week.
Yes, Santa Claus next week. Take it away, boss.
And I promise I'll be more awake and more alert than I am right now. I don't know how I got through today's show, guys. That should have been one of my gripes. How the hell am I going to get through today's show?
You did well. Well, we're out of here anyway.
Cool.
Good.
Fantastic.
See you, folks.
See you next week.
See you next week.